Hi, I'm Kylie. My stories mix romance with danger. This story is about a desperate moment, a stranger's hand, and a secret that alters everything. Comment Spotify if you want the audiobook. Let's begin. The scent of expensive cologne and cigar smoke clung to the air of the high-end steakhouse where I worked. A thick haze that trailed me from section to section. My feet throbbed in the mandatory black flats. The stiff, starched blouse and slim black trousers restricted my movements as I balanced two heavy platters of prime rib on my forearm. 8 months at the Gilded Oak, and I still wasn't used to the uniform or the way some patrons looked right through me, as if I were part of the furniture. Table 4 needs their check run. Paul, the shift manager, muttered as he brushed past, his gaze sharp on my brief pause to adjust my grip. I nodded quickly, my heart a frantic drum against my ribs. 5 more hours of this shift. 5 more hours until I could collect Mia from my sister's place and hold my 5-year-old daughter close, breathing in the scent of her bubblegum-scented Det Angler instead of this stifling mixture of steak grease and imported cigars. The restaurant hummed with Thursday night energy. Couples celebrating anniversaries, lobbyists making deals over scotch, wealthy tourists splurging without a glance at those serving them. I kept my expression neutral, trying to be efficient enough for good tips, but invisible enough to avoid trouble. Every cent mattered since the divorce.
Excuse me.
A man with a watch that probably cost more than my car raised a dismissive hand. This steak is underseasoned. It's practically bland.
I'm so sorry, sir.
I'll have the kitchen prepare another immediately. I took the nearly full plate, wondering if he could even taste anything over the arrogance. As I turned toward the kitchen doors, the main entrance of the restaurant swung open, letting in a gust of crisp winter air that raised goosebumps on my arms. And then I saw him. Michael, my ex-husband. My body locked, the plates tilting dangerously. He hadn't spotted me yet. He was laughing with the hostess, one hand resting easily on the podium. He looked prosperous, too prosperous for someone who had left us with nothing but maxed-out credit cards and a stack of final notices, vanishing for a year only to resurface with a settlement offer that was more insult than agreement. Panic, sharp and acidic, rose in my throat. I couldn't face him. Not here. Not in this humiliating uniform. While he stood there looking like success personified, the success he'd built on the ruin of our life. I scanned the room for an exit. The kitchen was clear across the main floor. I'd have to walk right by him. The hostess was scanning the reservation list. Any second, she'd lead him to his table, and his eyes would find me. They'd widen with that fake, pitying surprise. Then that smug, triumphant grin would appear, the one that said he'd moved on to finer things while I was still serving them. I made a split-second decision. Ditching the rejected steak on a bus station, I moved swiftly toward the lounge area, where a trio of serious-looking men sat at a high top, their backs to the dining room. Without a plan, I slid onto the empty stool beside a man with broad shoulders in a navy suit, and in a burst of pure, desperate instinct, I grabbed his hand where it rested on the polished wood. The hand was warm, surprisingly smooth yet strong, a heavy platinum band on his ring finger. I felt him tense beside me, but I couldn't look at him yet. My eyes were fixed on Michael, who was now scanning the room, nodding along to the hostess's chatter. "I'm so sorry," I whispered urgently to the stranger whose hand I was clinging to like a life preserver. "My ex-husband just walked in. I can't. I just need a minute. Please, just pretend you know me." I finally turned to look at the man whose space I'd invaded. My breath hitched. Hazel eyes met mine, a striking green gold in the low lounge lighting. They were set under a strong brow, watchful and utterly still, like a hawk considering its next move. His face was all defined planes, high cheekbones, a squared jaw shadowed with stubble, and lips pressed into a line of either irritation or curiosity. He was older, maybe late 40s, with distinguished silver at his temples that only amplified his air of quiet command. For a terrifying heartbeat, he said nothing, just studied me with those unnervingly calm eyes. Then a subtle shift. A decision reached. "Isabel," he said, his voice a low, smooth baritone that vibrated through me. It wasn't a question. I was beginning to wonder where you'd wandered off to. His accent was faint but distinct. Eastern European, perhaps. The way he shaped his vowels made the ordinary sentence sound like a secret. I released a breath I didn't know I was holding. Sorry to keep you waiting, I managed, my voice steadier than I felt. From the corner of my eye, I saw Michael being led to a booth on the far side. He hadn't seen me yet. The stranger followed my gaze, his eyes narrowing a fraction as they landed on Michael. Then, with a fluid, practiced motion, he shifted his body to block me from view, simultaneously freeing his hand only to place his own lightly on the curve of my waist. The touch felt both shielding and possessive, and despite my better judgment, I leaned into it. Is that him? He asked, his breath warm near my ear. I nodded, my voice stuck. Former spouse. Another nod from me. Recent. 1.5 years, I whispered. But he's been persistent. Something flickered in his eyes, there and gone. A spark of something cold. His hand pressed slightly firmer against my back. Lucas. A voice called from behind us. I noticed for the first time the other men at the table were watching us with keen interest. One, a solid man with a neatly trimmed beard and watchful eyes, seemed particularly focused. Not now, Stefan, my unexpected ally, Lucas, replied without looking away from me. His tone brooked no argument. Stefan immediately leaned back, murmuring something to the others. The dynamic was unmistakable. These weren't regular guys having a drink. There was a quiet authority around them, a space others unconsciously gave them. Your name, Lucas said softly, his gaze holding mine. Your real one. I hesitated. Giving my name felt like handing over a piece of myself. But he'd help without question. Chloe, I said finally. Chloe Bennett. Something like approval touched his features. Chloe, he repeated, as if tasting the word. You work here? I nodded, suddenly acutely aware of my server's attire, of the sheer absurdity of my situation. I should get back to. You're afraid, he interrupted, his observation cutting through my retreat. Not just of seeing him. You're afraid of something else. It wasn't a question. The accuracy startled me. How could he possibly know about the eviction notices, the calls from Michael's lawyer about revisiting custody, the constant weight of simply keeping us afloat? Before I could answer, I saw Michael stand, heading toward the restrooms, right past the lounge. He's coming this way, I whispered, panic flaring anew. Lucas's response was immediate. He raised his free hand, a subtle gesture I almost missed. The man named Stefan moved smoothly, intercepting Michael's path with an apologetic bump and engaging him in conversation, deftly steering him toward a different hallway. I stared at Lucas, stunned. How did you? Do you need to leave? He asked, ignoring my half-formed question. I can't. My shift doesn't end for hours. I need this job. The admission was bitter. Lucas's eyes traveled over my face, noting details I wasn't aware were visible. The exhaustion, the stress, the faint, yellowing shadow near my temple that concealer couldn't fully hide. A souvenir from Michael, the last time I'd refused to let him take Mia for the weekend after he'd been drinking. What time do you finish? 11, I said automatically, then instantly regretted it. He gave a single, decisive nod. I'll wait. No, that's not necessary. You've already helped more than enough by. I'll wait, he repeated firmer. It was a statement, not an offer. You shouldn't be alone if he decides to linger. A throat cleared behind us. Paul was glaring, his eyes darting between me and Lucas, his expression a mix of anger and sudden wariness. Bennett, Table 9 has been waiting for their dessert order. I'm sorry, I was just... She was assisting me. Lucas cut in smoothly, his voice dropping into a register that made Paul physically take half a step back. I believe I requested her attention specifically. Paul's face paled. Mr. Thorne. I didn't realize. Of course, sir. Take all the time you need, Chloe. He retreated quickly. Mr. Thorne. The name meant nothing to me, but it clearly meant everything to Paul, who had never used my first name without snapping it. You know my manager? I asked, confusion briefly overriding my fear. A faint, humorless smile touched Lucas's lips. I'm familiar with many establishments in this city. It wasn't an answer, and his tone told me I wouldn't get a better one. I really should get back, I said, reluctantly pulling away from the protective circle of his presence. But thank you. Truly. Lucas reached into his suit jacket and produced a business card, pressing it into my palm. Heavy cream stock. Just a name and a number embossed in dark ink. Lucas Thorne. If he approaches you, he said, closing my fingers around it, call this number. Anytime. I nodded, slipping the card into my apron pocket, aware it was more than just digits. For the rest of my shift, I moved in a haze, hyper-aware of 2 points: Michael, who remained absorbed with a red-haired woman I didn't know, and Lucas, whose presence at the lounge table seemed to change the room's pressure. Occasionally, our eyes would meet, and each time a confusing current would pass through me: gratitude, fear, and a dangerous, unfamiliar curiosity. What I didn't know then, as I cleared plates with trembling hands, was that in my moment of sheer need, I hadn't grabbed just any stranger's hand. I'd grabbed the hand of Lucas Thorne, a man whose name was spoken in hushed tones in certain circles, whose business interests were murky at best, and whose disputes were never settled in court. I had grabbed the hand of a man deeply entrenched in organized crime, and without knowing it, I had just tied my fragile world to his. At 11, counting my tips in the break room, barely enough for a week of groceries, a dull disappointment settled over me. He'd said he would wait. I'd believed him. The realization that I'd trusted a stranger's word made me angry at my own naivety. Changed into my worn jeans and sweater, I was mentally calculating the late-night bus schedule when Paul stopped me at the employee exit. "Bennett," he said, uncharacteristically hesitant. "Mr. Thorne left this for you." He handed me a thick envelope. "What is it?" "He said you'd need a ride home." Before I could respond, the door opened, letting in a cold draft along with Stefan. In the brighter hallway light, I could see him more clearly. The beard couldn't hide the quiet intensity in his eyes. "Miss Bennett," he said with a slight nod. "Mr. Thorne sent me to drive you home." "That's really not necessary. I can take the bus." "The last bus left 12 minutes ago," he stated, his expression neutral. I checked my watch. He was right. I can walk. "Mr. Thorne was quite clear," Stefan replied, his tone leaving no room for debate. Every instinct screamed to refuse, to keep my desperate world separate from Lucas Thorne's dangerous one. But the reality of the cold, long walk home decided for me.
Fine.
"Thank you." The sleek black sedan idled quietly. Stefan opened the rear door for me. "Your address?" I hesitated, the thought of this man knowing where Mia and I lived making my skin crawl. But I gave it, watching for any reaction to the name of my struggling neighborhood. His face remained impassive. In the back seat, I opened the envelope. Inside was a stack of cash, more than I made in a month, and a note in elegant, slanted script. Asterisk for the inconvenience. The car will see you home safely. LT asterisk. Humiliation and anger burned my cheeks. "I can't accept this," I said tightly to Stefan's reflection. "Please return it to him with my thanks." "That would be unwise," he said, eyes on the road. "I don't care. I'm not for sale." Something resembling respect flashed in his eyes. "Mr. Thorne doesn't pay for people, Ms. Bennett. He compensates for inconvenience. The distinction matters to him." We drove the rest of the way in silence. When he pulled up to my aging apartment complex, he stepped out to open my door with formal courtesy. "Mr. Thorne would appreciate if you kept the envelope," he said as the cold bit through my jacket. "Consider it a gesture." I clutched it, conflicted. The money would cover next month's rent and new snow boots for Mia. The mother in me couldn't refuse it on pride alone. "Thank him for the ride," I said, neither accepting nor rejecting it. He nodded, then handed me a card identical to the first. "Mr. Thorne's private line. He suggested you keep it somewhere secure." My attention was then snatched by a familiar Jeep parked across the street. Michael sat in the driver's seat, engine off, just watching. Ice flooded my veins.
How had he found me?
I'd moved twice since the divorce. Stefan followed my gaze, his posture shifting subtly. Is that him? I nodded, terror sealing my throat. Without a word, Stefan moved to stand between me and the Jeep. Go inside, Miss Bennett. Lock your door. I'll ensure he doesn't follow. You don't have to. I insist. Mr. Thorne would be displeased if I left you unprotected. The word, displeased, carried a heavy, ominous weight. I hurried inside, heart hammering, and collected a sleeping Mia from my sister's apartment across the hall. After tucking her in, I crept to the window. Stefan stood by the sedan under the streetlight. Michael's car door opened. He stepped out, his movements unsteady. He'd been drinking. He approached Stefan, gesturing wildly toward my building. Stefan remained still, a calm, solid figure. Then he moved, closing the distance to speak directly into Michael's ear. Whatever he said made Michael blanch. He stumbled back to his Jeep and sped off. Stefan looked up at my window, as if he knew I'd been watching, gave a small nod, and drove away. Sleep didn't come. I lay beside Mia, my mind churning. Morning arrived with Mia's cheerful demand for Waffle Wednesday. I moved through our routine mechanically. The envelope sat on the fridge, a silent, moral weight. Later, I counted it. $5,000. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. Did you sleep, Chloe? My heart leapt. How did he get my number? Before I could process it, another arrived. Asterisk, your ex won't be a problem anymore. Consider it handled. Asterisk. My fingers hovered. Asterisk, I don't know what Stefan said, but thank you. I can't accept the money. Asterisk. His reply was immediate. Asterisk, we'll discuss it tonight. 8 p.m. I'll send a car. Asterisk. The presumption should have infuriated me. Instead, I felt a flicker of anticipation. Asterisk, I can't. I have my daughter. Asterisk. A pause. Then, asterisk, bring her. She'll be safe. Asterisk. I stared. Bring Mia to meet a man like him? Unthinkable. That's not possible. A longer pause. Then, asterisk, your daughter will stay with Stefan's wife, Elena, in the playroom. She's a licensed preschool teacher. You and I will talk separately. This is important, Chloe. Please, asterisk. The please disarmed me. It was the first hint of a request, not a command. And he'd planned for my objection. As Mia chattered about waffles, I made a decision. We'll be ready at 8. The sedan arrived precisely at 8. Stefan stepped out, scanning the street. Who's that, Mommy? Mia asked, dressed in her best sparkly leggings and unicorn shirt. Our driver for tonight, sweetie. A knock. Mia, fearless, ran to the door. Hello. Are you a giant? To my surprise, Stefan's stern expression softened. He crouched. Not a giant, but I hear there might be cupcakes for excellent listeners. I'm an excellent listener, Mia declared. We drove to a stunning, modern home in the city's most exclusive enclave, set behind high gates. A warm, kind-faced woman named Elena met us at the door and whisked a delighted Mia away to a magical-looking playroom I could see from the hall. Stefan led me to a library, a breathtaking 2-story room of books and dark wood. A fire crackled. Lucas Thorne turned from a hearth. Outside the restaurant's gloom, he was even more imposing, power emanating from him like a physical force. Chloe, he said, my name is Soft Rumble. Thank you for coming. We sat by the fire. You're afraid, he observed again. You don't need to be. Not of me. I don't even know you, but I know enough to know you're not just a businessman. Lucas, he corrected. And no, not just. But tonight, I'm just a man interested in a remarkable woman. He studied me. Why would someone like you be interested in someone like me? I asked. A woman rebuilding a life, protecting her child, surviving with grace under pressure? You underestimate your worth, Chloe Bennett. His words, after years of Michael's belittlement, struck a deep chord. He leaned forward. When you grabbed my hand, you did something no one has in a very long time. You surprised me. In my world, surprise is rare. It was refreshing. What did Stefan say to Michael?
I asked.
His expression cooled. He informed him that further contact with you or Mia would result in consequences he couldn't fathom. Your ex-husband is a bully. Show him real power and he crumbles. He met my eyes. He understands you're under my protection now. The phrase sent a shiver through me, relief and trepidation. I can't be indebted to you. I'm not looking for repayment. I want your company. Freely given.
Dinner.
Conversation. We ate in a glass-enclosed conservatory, overlooking the gardens where Mia played. He was surprisingly easy to talk to, asking about my dreams, listening about Mia.
Over dessert, he circled back.
He did more than just leave, didn't he? The directness jarred me. I found myself confessing it all. The slow erosion, the first slap, the broken wrist, the threats when I tried to leave. No one deserves that, Lucas said, his voice dangerously quiet. He reached across, his fingers gently tracing the fading mark near my temple. This will never happen again. Not while I live. Why? I whispered. Why for a stranger? Perhaps I saw someone who acted on pure instinct, not calculation. Someone who reminded me of who I was before all this. He gestured vaguely around us. And what are you, Lucas? I asked quietly. He held my gaze. I think you know. Does it matter? Tonight? Before I could answer, Mia burst in, breathless with tales of talking teddy bears. Lucas smiled at her, the transformation startling. He spoke to her with a gentle seriousness she responded to instantly. Seeing them together did something to my heart. Later, as we prepared to leave, Lucas said, I'd like to see you again, Chloe. Just you and me. I knew I should say no. But standing there, with Mia safe and Michael no longer a looming shadow, I nodded. I'd like that too. He pressed a small velvet box into my hand.
A gift.
Nothing extravagant. Inside was a delicate silver necklace with a single charm, a tiny, open lock. A card read, for new beginnings. 3 months passed. Cautious texts, dinners, a growing connection. I still worked at the Gilded Oak, but Paul had mysteriously assigned me to better sections. Michael had dropped his custody fight and moved to another state, according to the lawyer Lucas had quietly provided. The necklace rarely left my skin. Then, a formal note from Lucas arrived, asking to meet. He picked me up himself, driving us to a secluded lake house outside the city. I'm leaving this life, he told me by the fire, his voice earnest. I've been extricating myself for a year. Meeting you and Mia, it made the need urgent. I want a life with you, if you'll have me. He presented a ring, not a diamond, but a deep emerald set in white gold. My mother's. She said to give it only to a woman of true strength. I'm asking for your patience while I finish this, for your trust that I can become the man you deserve. Tears filled my eyes. You do that? For us. For the chance at a life I never thought possible. He warned of dangers, of increased security around US, of a timeline of 2 months. Then we could go anywhere. Why me? I asked finally. Because when you grabbed my hand, you weren't seeing a reputation. You were just seeing a person. And when you learned who I was, you still saw the man beneath. You make me feel human, Chloe. Just a man. I said yes. A promise, not an engagement. He slipped the ring on my right hand and kissed me, a kiss that felt like a new beginning, and a vow all at once. He drove me home, explaining security protocols. At my apartment door, he kissed me again. 2 months, he whispered, then a lifetime. After he left, I stood in my living room, the emerald gleaming. For the first time in years, I dared to imagine a future without fear. A sudden, furious pounding on my door shattered the peace. I opened it without thinking. Michael stood there, drunk and enraged. He pushed inside. So it's true. You're shacking up with a goddamn criminal. Get out. His eyes locked on the ring. You get everything, don't you? He grabbed my wrist, twisting. I had to wait weeks for his goons to slip up. Let go of me. Or what? You'll call your mobster boyfriend? Something in me broke, a final thread of fear. I am not afraid of you. Not anymore. I twisted my arm sharply. breaking his grip with a move Stefan had quietly taught me. Michael snarled, lunging. The door burst open. Stefan filled the doorway, another man behind him. "Mr. Reeves," Stefan said calmly. "You're trespassing." Michael paled. "This is between me and my wife." "Ex-wife," I and Stefan said in unison. Stefan stepped fully inside. "You were warned. Ms. Bennett is under Mr. Thorne's protection." He gave Michael one chance to leave peacefully, for Mia's sake. Defeated, Michael slunk out, muttering empty threats. Lucas arrived minutes later, fury etched into his controlled features. After checking me over, he turned to Stefan. "This changes things. We accelerate. Tonight." "Tonight?" I echoed. "Essentials only. I have safe places." I looked at my daughter's bedroom door. The risk of staying was greater than the fear of leaving. "How long do I have to pack?" 1 hour. As I packed, a strange liberation took hold. Mia woke as I dressed her. "Are we going on adventure, Mommy?" "Yes, baby. The biggest one yet." In the living room, Lucas lifted a sleepy Mia into his arms. She settled against him trustingly. "Ready?" he asked, his free hand extended to me. 3 months ago, I had grabbed a stranger's hand out of desperation. Now I took it by choice. "Ready," I said, the emerald catching the light as he led us out of the apartment, out of the old life, and into the fragile, hopeful unknown.